system.
It wouldn't take anything away from the show to just do real points. And here's the thing. All of us are afraid of the rubric that we're trying to find for why someone gets to... But here's the thing. You're not protecting anyone's feelings because at the end of the day, Sam makes an arbitrary decision to give the ear to someone, and it still hurts every time. So what are...
Well, all right, Brennan. Let me help. Make Some Noise is a comedy game show on Dropout, as I'm sure you know if you're watching this video, and it's hosted by Sam Reich, a man who has been lying to us since the beginning of Season 1. When he claims that he's spun the show off unchanged, the air quotes are there, and they're doing a lot of heavy lifting. Because not only has it changed since Game Changer, it's changed in a large way, that being the point system, which, according to Sam, even in one of his own prompts, is now arbitrary and loosey-goosey. And I can't stand for that. I have a bachelor's degree in creative writing and English, and I'm using it to do this weird math thing. Do you see what you've made me do, Sam? This is your fault, Sam Reich. Here in this notebook, I have compiled the actual scores for Episode 1 of Season 3 of Make Some Noise. Let's begin. Minigame number 1. No points were awarded. I like this minigame. They've done it a few times now, but every time, it's that point score. How are we supposed to know who objectively did the best, Sam? Number 2. Josh's first prompt, he gets, it's an honor just to be nominated, points. And as we all know, it's an honor to be nominated is what you say when you've lost, and you haven't won anything. So Josh receives 0 points for his first prompt. Zach, for his first prompt, receives who cares number of points. That's another 0. And Brennan's first prompt, this is the biggest criticism I have of this episode. No points are even mentioned. Brennan did all of that great work as Tim Curry. There's a lovely story that they tell about that being why Brennan was even hired at College Humor. And then they don't give him any points. How could you do this, Sam? I thought this was a game show. Next prompt is Josh again. No points. That one was played as a joke during the show. Oh my gosh, how could Sam not give him any points for that? Sam hasn't given anyone a single point for the entire episode thus far. Next prompt. Zach receives 23 points by the end of the day. It's far past the end of the day of that shoot, so I'm counting that as 23 points. Brennan, in his next prompt, receives 5 all-purpose points, which for our purposes is 5 points. Minigame number 2, we're actually getting into some scoring here. Josh receives 1 point for naming a clown, Zach receives 4, because he's absolutely on fire, and Brennan receives 2. On to round 2. Zach and Josh receive the friends we made along the way number of points, which again is a consolation prize because they didn't get any points. Zach and Brennan receive 11 points for their next prompt, no fussing about there. Then all 3 of them, interestingly enough, in round 2, receive 100 points flushed backwards. I don't care what direction they're flushed, that's 100 points. Next up, Zach and Josh receive 60 points per second. That bit lasted 1 minute, 4 seconds, and 47 hundredths of a second, which, doing the math, equates to 3,868.2 points for each of them. Sorry, Brennan. Then Zach and Brennan receive 10 points each for a 30-minute maximum. It took them far less than 30 minutes to do that prompt, so I'm counting the 10 points. Then Josh and Brennan receive 2 enthusiastic points up in their next prompt. Great. And then, in minigame number 3, Josh receives 1 point after all of that. And hey, the other 2 didn't play by the rules. That's not true. Zach played by the rules, but Brennan didn't. Then in the next one, 100 points to Paul Robolino, a man not even playing this episode. It's a joke. Then, next prompt, Zach, Josh, and Brennan received 6 points with 80 years of interest. This was the most math-heavy thing that we did here. I assumed that this is a very generous account. We know that Dropout is known to be a very generous company. So I've assumed that they're getting 5% interest here because it made the math easier. They're getting 5% interest for 80 years. I'm counting it as continuously compounding. And I am counting it as well as not being taxed. It's not income, so it's not being taxed. It's points. I'm also assuming that we are not accounting for any inflation, because I don't think, if Sam's been doing his job, there should be any inflation in this game show. Anyway, after you do all that math, it totals out to each of them getting 327.59 points. And then, for the final prompt of the show, they receive 1 point per mile walked in each other's shoes. And I understand that that's a metaphor, Sam, but these people didn't walk at all, so no points given. Now, we come to the grand final tallies. At the end of the episode, Josh has 4,299.79 points. Zach has 4,343.79 points. Brennan has 457.59 points. And Paul has 100 points. Now, what that means is that Zach has won the episode with... What that means is that Zach has won the episode with a few points more than Josh. It also means that Brennan is in third place. At the top of the episode, in case we're all forgetting, our good friend Sam Reich said, "The first place takes home the golden ear." Lie. Josh took home the golden ear, even though he lost the episode. Second place takes home the silver earrings. As was stated, Josh should have taken those home, but he got the golden ear. And third place will be asked not to participate in dropout projects moving forward. Better hope World Beyond Number is going well, Brennan, because I hate to break it to you, but I think Sam just fired you.